Urban Notes Podcast, where real people tell real stories through urban lifestyles and cultures. Urban Notes Podcast, where real people tell real stories through urban lifestyles and cultures.
Shit, we out here.
Yo,
Yo,
what's good, bro?
what's going on? How are you, King?
I'm good. Can't complain. Can't complain. Feel me? How's your morning going so far?
I mean, so far so good. I can't complain. I've been stimulated by some kings. You feel me? Like the
Word.
conversation. You know what I'm saying was awesome. You know what I'm saying. I definitely didn't expect to be able to bond like that and really have an understanding. You know what I'm saying. So that was a beautiful thing.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So I got a few questions before we start, right? So these are so my audience can know who we're engaging conversation with today, right?
Okay.
So tell me your name, where you from, or what brings you most joy in life.
Okay. Well, my name is Thomas. That's what my mama named me. But everyone calls me Ayo Biggest. You know what I'm saying? Or Henny. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that brings me the most joy is my family being happy and successful because of everything that we've been through as a family. So when my family grow, I grow. I've made a lot of sacrifices for for my family to see that we could be better as men and as women.
Right.
And just you know what I'm saying, just seeing my family grow for real, to be honest with you, just seeing my family get above the pain and everything that we've been through for real.
Right, right, right. Most definitely, most definitely. I feel that. I feel like, yeah. I mean, for me, I answer that question, right? Like, what brings me most joy is just like, seeing other people smile, just for the little things I may do for them, like open a door or just saying good morning or just, simply pick up a little stroller at a train station for somebody who's just struggling. That brings me most joy. You know what I'm saying? Those are things
Okay.
that we got to do more often in our communities. I feel like we don't do that enough in our community. If we do that more in our communities, it would be less violence and more community love.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. So like we talk about love today. We talk about love versus toxic love, right? So
Okay.
what is love and what is toxic? What is love? What's love is and what is toxic love?
So to me, love is unconditional. Love is gentle. Love is kind. Love is transparent. Um, love doesn't always feel good, but love, if someone loves you, they're gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Um, toxic love is loving from loving from what's the word I'm looking for? Loving from your trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like trauma
Right,
bonding. Trauma bonding is toxic love.
right,
You not, but you also have to have an understanding of things that you've been through to understand if you're loving toxically or not. Like I said, I used to love my partners more than I loved myself, and that's toxic. I have to love
right,
myself first before I love my partner. You know what I'm saying? I gotta know
right,
that I love myself more than I love my partner. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that I can make sure that when they're out of line or I feel like they stepping out of line, I can remove myself from that because I love myself more than I love with this situation we in.
Right, right. I agree. And I agree because you know, and it's crazy because me and one of my friends was talking and we was talking about love versus toxic love. And I said love is something that cannot be bought, but it can be touched and feel.
Hmm.
Um love never hurt. Love educate.
Hmm.
Love multiplies, never duplicate. It reciprocates and always show you that love can be informed in different phases,
Absolutely.
different places, and different shape and different sizes. And a lot of times we fail to realize that. And toxic love come in all different forms. It's just
Absolutely.
like it comes like a snake. It shed its skin every time it think it master a course, or it think it wants up you, or is toxic love is also is really like, you're projecting the negative version of yourself that you want to never ever show. Like that part of you is like, I don't act like this. But your toxic self says, yeah, this is what you do when nobody's behind closed doors. This is what you act like when things don't get your way. And he may or she may say, well, he act like this and do this, but people don't believe it. But your action in a toxic way shows it. The way you show up shows it. And that's important because we got in this conversation we're gonna talk about a lot about love and toxic love. And I feel like a lot of people use this Krishan and Blueface as an example of what's love and toxic love. But we fail to realize that we glorify a lot of celebrities like that. Not just Krishan and Blueface. We did it with Megan and Tory. We did it with Slim Thug and his wife. We did it with all these different rappers. So it's like this conversation is not a new conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. So I have a question for you. And from the conversation you and I had earlier today, before we transferred even heavier, that shit was amazing. And a question I wanted to ask you, and I think this is what spiked the conversation we're talking about right now. We're talking about love. If you could talk to your younger version of yourself, what would you say to the younger version of yourself about love?
Wow, that's a deep question. Um, I'll tell the younger me that everything I went through as a child, as a teenager, I didn't have any control over it. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. And you did your best to keep you safe, bro. Like you did your best to with the tools you had to keep you safe. Um, I understand. I also would tell my younger self that I understand that we weren't loved properly. So we seek the love in many different ways, in many different forms from anybody that we could get it from. And that also we accepted because I'm talking about my, you know what I'm saying, younger self. We accepted
Right,
toxic love a lot. You know what I'm saying? What we thought was
right,
love wasn't love. You feel me? What we thought was understanding wasn't understanding. A lot of situations was one sided. So I would tell my younger
right,
self that we're okay. We went through what we went through for a reason to get to where we at right now. I would
right,
tell my younger self because I've actually meditated and healed my inner child and been healing my inner child. And the first thing that my inner child told me was, I'm safe. You can let go now. You did the best you could to keep me safe and you're okay. Um, because I'm big on meditation. I'm huge on meditation. You know what I'm saying? That was before I even started going to counseling. I was doing a lot of meditation, and that's what led me to go to counseling because I felt like I did all I could by myself. But I would tell
right.
my younger self that I love you, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? You endured a lot. Um, you endured a lot, and we're okay.
Right, right. Most definitely. I appreciate you for even being that vulnerable, right? Because a lot of us men, we don't often be that vulnerable in our circles or in our spaces with other men because we fear of being judged, fear of the toxic masculinity of what it means to be a man to show out, that emotion side don't show out. So I appreciate you to even say that. And like for me, like what would I tell my younger self? I, I would tell my younger self to be patient for me and just just know that you're not wrong. You're being heard. You are listened to. You are nurtured. You're appreciated. You're valued. You're phenomenal. And you can be anything that you want to be. Just keep doing you no matter what. I feel like when you were so much your inner child and how you tell you to let go, um, that's deep because my inner child is telling me the same thing. It tells me, like that's what I think. That's what I'm chasing. the family value is because I'm in a place where like I could tell my inner child now, thank you, I appreciate you, like I adore you. You did all the best you can. You did what it need to be done. Now it's my turn to do what need to be done. And I just had this conversation with myself this morning. So it's like, just even to ask this question is deep because like even to think as an adult, like I want to thank myself to allow myself to partake with myself in a version that is very healthy of myself because that is what's important too, is to appreciate yourself in a way that nobody else can appreciate yourself. And the one last thing I would say to my younger self is you are worthy without causing pain. You are strong yet wise. That's it. Mm, yeah. So it's like, these conversations don't get often talked about all the time. And so with that being said, right, because we just said a lot, right? How have you been in position by people you love to do something you felt wasn't right or wasn't in your best interest? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I was saying, can you repeat the question for me?
Yeah, the question is, have you been in position by people you love to do something you felt wasn't right or in your best interest?
Absolutely, absolutely, all the time. But what that comes from, it comes from that person taking advantage of your vulnerability, taking advantage of my vulnerability, and taking advantage of my vulnerability and the fact that they know I love them. So yes, I have done things that I probably shouldn't have did or didn't wouldn't have regularly did if if I didn't have love for that person. So absolutely.
Right, right, most definitely. Yeah, I feel like I did a lot. I feel like I did a lot too. Like I did a lot of things for people that, I was put in positions a lot of times to certain things to certain degrees. But I never let it held me down. I always try to find unique ways to counter challenges and find ways like people always say, the cliche thing is say with every challenge, like what one brother said on the video I was watching on Instagram said, he said, you may climb one mountain, you think you reached the top. That's just the bottom of the next mountain you had to climb. And that's where I look at life, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I look at how like positions I put in, like because it's just one mountain to another mountain to another mountain. It's always mountains and mountains and top of mountains and top of mountains, and it would never be just one mountain. Um, with that being said, right? Because you say, yeah, boom. How do you feel about or have you been wait? Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about or have you been in a situation where you felt obligated to give love to a friend of many years or family member you have no relationship with, and vice versa?
Um. Well, when I was younger, like I said to you earlier, I used to hold on to time.
Right,
Time was a big thing with me. I felt like if I had a certain amount of years in which you had to tolerate certain things, I had to deal with certain things. But the more I got older and I realized these things weren't right, like I'll treat a stranger better than I would a family member if that stranger is handling me properly and my family member is mistreating me.
Mm.
I cut off my older brother. I cut off my older brother maybe 2 years ago because of how toxic he was and his toxic masculinity. He told me I was a bitch because I started crying to him about the pain I was in. You know what I'm saying? And for
Mm.
me, that wasn't okay. So I had to remove myself away from him. You know what I'm saying? And then in return, he came to me this year and he said to me, yo, little bro, I appreciate you because you showed me that I had needed to cry more and release more. So thank you for cutting me off. Thank you for telling me that you hated me because at the time I felt like you hated me. I felt like you hated me and he said to me, I thought it was a long-term thing. I said no. And I shouldn't have used and I told him I had to apologize because I shouldn't have used I hate you. I hate the things. I hate the things that you're saying. Because I don't hate you. I love you to death.